Hey guys, welcome to our first ever unfiltered real world review, and today we have the third generation right there, Kia Forte. It's the brand new 2019 model. It just came out and we're going to do a test drive. We're going to do a 0 to 60. We're going to drive it on the highway. We're going to drive it on the side roads, and we're going to give you our first and I think most honest impression. So Ian, give them a look at the car first. From my point of view, what's most interesting about this third gen Forte is right here. Come on with me. It's these headlights. It's got these four little like butterfly wings that come off the headlight that are actually the daylight running lights for this, and it gives it a really unique and unusual headlight signature. And of course, headlight signatures are becoming crazy important now because they're part of what makes the brand, and I really like those. Let's check out what's under the hood. We have a 2-liter that's paired to the intelligent variable transmission. I think that's Kia speak for a CVT. It puts out 147 horsepower and 132 pound-foot of torque. And it's normally aspirated, and up here at about a mile above sea level, that's going to make it a little slower, especially paired with the CVT. So before we go for a ride, let's show them kind of what the back end looks like. Come on, Ian. Well, I do like the tail. I especially like this feature. Let me show you. Right here, it's a real exhaust and a real exhaust tip. And in case you're wondering, there's what the trunk looks like. It's very spacious, lots of room. Certainly for this class of car, it's got all the room you want. And of course, this is the EX model, which is the upper trim model. So we're going to have all the bells and whistles. All right, Ian, why don't you get in the back seat? I'll get in the front seat. I believe Tommy is waiting inside for us to do this real world review. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
Good. Good. So, saw you talked about the engine.
Yep.
So this is the 2019 Kia Forte. This is pretty new.
Yep.
And this one with the EX Launch Edition package comes in a total of $26,220. So I've got the Monroney here.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
It is pretty expensive, yeah. But I think the biggest upside of having a CVT transmission is definitely the fuel economy. So we're rated at 30 mpg city, 40 mpg highway, and 34 mpg combined. If you get the base model trim, you actually get one better combined.
Yeah, and if you look right here, Ian, if you can kind of point the camera over here, what you can see is my average fuel economy is the 34.9, which is exactly right about where we should be getting, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, let's take it for a ride. Let's go on the highway. Let's do our 0 to 60, and let's talk about kind of the interior and what we think of this vehicle. First and foremost, I've got a lot of technology in here, Tommy. I've got blind spot detection. I have lane keep.
Yeah, you have forward collision avoidance, pedestrian assistance, right? Park distance control. In the rear, you have smart cruise control, which is adaptive. Tons and tons of features. LED headlights with high beam assist, right? These are premium car features just several years ago that are now really worked themselves down into this Kia Forte.
Yeah, what I don't have is a lot of headroom.
No, you don't have a lot of headroom.
The sunroof takes up, a good, inch and a half.
Yeah.
And if I want headroom, I actually have to open it. Otherwise, I've got none.
And where do you think it's assembled?
I'm going to say this guy's assembled in Korea.
No, it is assembled in Mexico.
It's a Mexican-built Forte. Interesting. Now, why don't we talk about those air vents, because they're becoming a little cliche, right? These round vents became very popular. I think Mercedes was one of the first ones to actually...
Well, I think Bentley was pretty early on.
Yeah, there were earlier ones, but...
Yeah, so these are, they were really cool a couple years ago, and now they're pretty standard. They're just your turnable round air vents, and you can control the airflow by spinning the vent itself. I actually think this whole vent design is very reminiscent of like a Mazda CX-5, where you've got this kind of chrome accent, and then these two vents look straight out of a Mazda. I mean, it's incredible how similar those are. And then there's also some other similarities. The infotainment system here is an 8-inch display, and it looks like it goes all the way out, but it actually stops like maybe an inch before the edge of the screen, so it's smaller than the shroud will have you guess.
Yeah, and they kind of hide it with the black. All right, so we're about to get on the diagonal highway here. We're about to merge now. This is a real-world test, which means that we've got 3 people in here, so this 0 to 60 time is going to be slow.
Yeah, but it's, merging onto the highway 0 to 60 test.
Yeah, and oftentimes you'll do that with more than one person. So here we
Okay,
go.
go for it.
I'm floored. CVT, got me in sport mode, thank you.
Yep.
Oh my. Oh my.
Whoa, it looks like it's shifting. It's pretending to shift.
Yeah. And there's 60. And look at our time. 12.23 seconds with 3 people in the car.
Yep. That's about right.
That's about right. In terms of driving, it's a very comfortable car. I've got a lot of shoulder room, not a lot of headroom. I've got different drive modes that I can select, so I can go from smart to normal to sport. And really, all that does is it changes how heavy the steering is and where that intelligent CVT, is what they call it, actually shifts. So it doesn't really change the suspension. It doesn't actually make this car any faster. It just gives me, I'm going to call it the impression of being in a sportier car.
Right, sure. So I think one of the reasons, I'm going to turn that off, that you buy a Hyundai or a Kia now is because is the infotainment system, because they do such a good job with the actual functionality of this 8-inch display. So this one, because we have the EX Launch Edition package, we have navigation and restaurants, searching restaurants nearby. Look at that. Snarf sandwiches, Deli Zone, Burger King.
Right. You know what I always like to test?
Uh-huh.
Let's see if it works with voice command. What do you say?
Yeah,
should I try it?
try it.
All right, let me make this turn, and then we'll try the voice command. So we're going to go to Snarfs.
Sure,
Let's
try taking us to Snarfs.
All right, so I'm gonna hit voice command. This feature is unavailable. So it has to be connected to...
Try pushing it just one more time. Just push it. No, don't hold it.
It's unavailable. It has to be connected via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto.
Oh.
So I guess we could connect our phone, but since this is a real-world review, it's real-world result.
Please say a command.
Take us to Snarfs.
Please say the line number.
Payless Shoe Source. No, go back.
Please say a command.
Navigate to Burger King.
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
Okay, well, it tried to take us to Payless Shoes.
So, yeah, there we go. Now this part of the drive is where the road gets a little bumpy, and the Kia is doing a really good job of soaking up this rough road. It's not transmitting a lot of the harshness. It's actually quite comfortable for a small car. And let's be clear, this competes with very popular cars like the Honda Civic and the Toyota Corolla. So it's in a very popular class. And of course, what sets Kias apart is you get a 10-year warranty.
Yes, it's 10-year, 100,000 mile limited powertrain warranty. 5-year, 60,000 mile limited basic warranty.
Yeah, and that's a big reason people buy them. And Kia started out as kind of the brand that people would buy because they couldn't quite afford a Japanese car. And now they've moved up market and they've taken that same strategy. Boy, this road is rough. But the car's doing okay. I wouldn't say it's Rolls-Royce comfortable, but it's well dampened, and I can really tell that the suspension is relatively well set up for this kind of road.
Yeah, and we're on 17-inch alloy wheels too.
Yeah. We talked about the price yet? How much does bad boy cost?
So this one, like I said earlier, is $26,220 with the EX Launch Edition package. There's different trims. I think they start around $17,690. For the Forte.
Yeah.
And of course the EX is going to be, like you mentioned, the upper level trim. But we get so many features in this vehicle, such as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We have heated and ventilated seats.
That's pretty cool.
Which is really cool. Over here, I can show this. We've got wireless charging.
Yeah, that's really cool too.
So that's good, and it actually works.
Yeah. And it works on your big phone.
Yeah.
Not just a small phone.
On the 8 Plus.
Then we've got a USB.
Yeah, I got it. I'll point to stuff. You just drive here.
Okay.
We've got 12 volt, and we have USBs and auxiliary ports down there. And then, automatic climate, dual zone automatic climate, which is really crazy.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of cool features in here. So I've got, what you'd expect in probably a more expensive car. So I can scroll up, I can scroll down. I've got adaptive cruise control, dude, which is pretty cool. I can set how far I want the car ahead of me to stay on when I've got the cruise control engaged. It's got a lot of technology, a lot of safety tech. And one of my favorite things, of course, about a Kia is that it's really looks like a German car, right? Peter Schreier, who is the lead designer, came from Audi, and there's a lot of Audiness in this car.
Yeah, I think you could say that, and especially like in this
Shifter, yeah.
lever, right? It looks very much like an Audi, and we also have the ability to fake shift our CVT, which actually makes a pretty big difference in the RPM range there.
Yeah.
And it puts us in sport mode.
Yeah, but it's still kind of fake shifting it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's still emulating. I think, I would look at this car if I wanted something where I knew I'd have the satisfaction of not having to worry about the car braking for almost 10 years, right?
Right.
But if it were my money, I'd probably look at the Civic because I like a little bit more sportier engine. I like the fact that the Civic comes with a turbocharged engine.
You can get like a 1.5 turbo in the Civic.
Yeah.
And you can get a manual transmission in this as well, but only in, I believe, the very base model.
Yeah, so it's really this that would keep me away from buying this car. We're calling this a real-world unfiltered review, and I'm going to give you my opinion. I don't care what you think of CVTs. I don't like them. I just think they take a lot of the driving experience and really mute it down and make it kind of boring.
I think they're fine, especially in a car like this. Because look at that mileage. Look what that CVT gives you. I mean, 34 combined is pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's exactly the trade-off. So
yeah, so I think
I have a pillow under my big toe using the accelerator, but I get great fuel economy.
Yeah, and I think in a vehicle like this, that's a trade-off I'd be willing to take.
Yeah, and before we're done with this review, and we're almost back to the office, give this some thought. We're going to give it a rating of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. Mm-hmm. So I want to know kind of where you come in on that at the end of this review.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is it's a little too black for me, Tommy. It's kind of a sea of black. I get that black is in right now. This piano black on the door sills, is only really punched up by this one silver line that goes across.
Well, and the steering wheel has a nice silver accent.
But it's still a lot of black. However, the materials, what do you think? Not bad, huh? Softish?
They're a little hard, actually. And I think it's funny, you can see on the dashboard here, they stitch plastic to plastic. I don't know how they manage that, but it looks like it's some kind of leather trim. And they try to accentuate that with this fake stitching here, but it's just kind of like a rubbery, plasticky blackness.
Yeah, it's a car that if you want good fuel economy, if you want good reliability, if you want a little splash of pizzazz in your life, but if you're not exactly into the driving of the vehicle in terms of its kind of dynamic approach, it is a good choice for people who want that but don't necessarily want the excitement of driving a manual or a turbocharged engine. So, what is your call on this car? Buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. Let's go outside and we'll give them our final ratings. By the way, let's show them the key too. It's pretty cool. Kia does these kind of interesting keys where you've got the lock button right up here. It's a really elegant key. There's a lot of style in this car. A lot of interesting details.
So on your rating, what do you give it?
I'm going to give this a lease it, and of course the reason for that is because it has the CVT. I'd give it a buy it if it had a regular transmission and a turbo. How about you?
Definitely buy it.
Yeah?
I don't think a CVT matters in this car, especially for the price point. You get so many options: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We have wireless charging, adaptive cruise control, heated seats, vented seats, automatic headlights, dual zone climate. Just like it goes on and on. And I think it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty good value. So I'm going to go for buy it.
Well, guys, thanks again for watching. This has been our first unfiltered and real-world review. Let us know if you like this style of review in the comments below, and we'll do more. And if you don't, then, well, it's been a good experiment, and we thought it'd be worth a shot.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, check back to TFL Now for your latest and greatest in car reviews. See you guys next time.